If people watching on the camera can't see this, but there's behind Judy, the kids are lined up waiting to get on this this new thing behind us. What is all this wood behind us here, Mr. Mayor?
Well, this is an environmentally and handicapped accessible state-of-the-art playground.
All right. And your name, sir?
Tom Batha.
Tom Batha. This is your second go-around as being mayor. What's your time periods, Tom?
1985 to now, off and on. I was a trustee for 6 years and a mayor for 4 years before this, and now trustee another year and then 2 more years as mayor.
Okay. So whose idea was this?
Well, it was sort of, I guess I had the idea, but I asked our administrator, Steve Peters, if he could look into it, and he jumped right into it and got us the grant and did all the paperwork and really made it happen. And this is just this is a part of the overall upgrade for this facility, maybe about a third of it or so or less. You're going to see some really big improvements here in the next few weeks.
Oh, really? Yeah, I see over here we got a swing set put in.
No, that's the original one.
That's the original
There
one.
was 3 sets of playgrounds here.
It's been painted, it looks like.
There was the original metal one, which had a merry-go-round thing and a bunch of other stuff that was obsolete OSHA-wise, I guess, or whatever they...
Well, yeah, kids can fall off those little things.
Yeah. So then we put a plastic one in, modern one, when I was mayor before 20 years ago. And then about 11 years ago, they put another one next to that, very small. And they were deteriorating, plastic deteriorates with the sun and everything, and pieces break off. And so it was time to upgrade them, and that's why I got the idea for this. Well, plus I got the idea with my 3 granddaughters, too, so they had input on this.
They want to come play, too, right?
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we did. It appears to be really popular.
Yeah, I was here Saturday doing a soccer game over in the other field, diagonal from here, and I looked over here, and there was nothing but kids swarming around here on a Saturday morning, and I'm sure some of the soccer players wandered over here after. Oh,
they certainly were. They really liked it. We got a lot of positive feedback from the parents and the kids, and everybody was really happy with it. We're going to be putting some park benches in so the parents can sit and watch their kids. We got fencing coming along the pickleball field, which is behind you there.
Well, that's a pickleball field. I thought it was a tennis court with no...
No, you have to come down here and do a pickleball story. Jan Letourneau's been running that. We've been running it indoors for all summer, Wednesday and Saturdays. It's coming to an end in a couple of weeks, but very popular. We have 4 courts inside. Of course, they'll have to come down for the ice making in another couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But we're getting fencing around this one, and then all the fencing on the tennis courts are coming down, and they're going to be all new poles, new fence, and then resurface the tennis courts. So that's all new. The soccer fields are going to be all torn up as soon as soccer season's over and re-leveled and graded and put proper grass and everything on. That'll be in October.
Is any of that grant money?
That's all part of this grant.
Oh, wow.
What I'm talking about is all in the grant. It was $213,000, and then I think it's about $75,000 or $78,000 of in-kind services by the village that we have our guys out here working and charging it off. They're getting new bleachers, because apparently these aren't compliant anymore because they don't have railings or something. So we're getting new bleachers and a new dugout to replace we built one new dugout this summer. It was blown down, and then we tore the other one down because it was decrepit, and we'll have another one to replace that. And some additional cameras and lighting around here. And extending the parking lot, which is, if you've ever been here when they're having soccer or baseball in the summer, softball, parking all over the place.
Right.
There's 300 cars down here. The front lot's completely plugged up, and all the grass and everything.
We'll have a tournament here in a couple of weeks, and that's going to be impossible to park.
So we're going to that parking lot on the north side, south side rather, is going to be extended significantly, and then the fitness trail, which is the one along the back here with the workout stations along it, that ends over there right now, but it's going to be continued this year to loop around. Okay. So that'll be finished. So it's a lot of stuff going on here, and it's all coming together right now. This was the first stage of it.
It's all nicer when it's all done by grant money, huh?
Well, grant money's tax money from somebody,
right,
you know.
Right. But if you don't grab it, then so somebody makes it available. Well, it's supposed to be a 10 o'clock press conference here. I don't want to hold you guys up. So anything else you think we should know before all this is goes on?
No, just a spot for the Coast craft show is coming here the last weekend in September. It's the 27th.
Okay.
And that's a pretty big deal. This is the third or fourth year for it.
And right after that's out, you'll probably start making
The next day the ice comes in. The next day. So
all right, craft fair coming up here at the Rouses Point Rec Center. I keep calling it a rec center, even though it's a civic center.
Well, that's what we called it for 30 years, so you get used to it. But now it's the Civic Center because they said we had to because they moved the board room in there. So
okay, it's the civic center.
Thanks,
Tom.
Okay, thank you, Kelvin.
Yeah.
Everyone, and welcome to our ribbon cutting for our new playground. Okay.
No, start
I
over.
want to introduce a few people before we have some short speeches. I'd like to introduce Mayor Tom Batha, Assemblyman Billy Jones, Rec Leader Jan Letourneau, and we have Steve Peters, who is with Elevate 518, and he's our former village administrator who helped us get a grant for this beautiful playground. And I would like to introduce Mayor Tom Batha. Would like to say a few words?
Well, we've been working on this for about probably 6 months or more, maybe a little longer than that, and this is the first thing that you can actually see as a result of those efforts. This is the tip of the iceberg for the renovation of the entire outdoor rec facility fields. It's going to be followed up by tennis court reconstruction, fences around the new pickleball courts. Soccer field's going to be regraded and leveled, and a bunch of other things too that we're going to have done here. And it's all part of the grant and the in-kind services the village is providing. And everybody's been working real hard on this, and we're real happy with the way it's going so far. Hope to have it all done by probably mid-October, Steve?
Yeah, we're
Looking for, because of the weather and everything, but hopefully everything will be rolling pretty soon here. So thank you all for coming, and they say the kids really enjoy it, and the parents are pretty receptive also.
Oh. Well, I'm the king of brief speeches, so when you said brief remarks, I'll make it very short. But this is great work they're doing here, and I commend the village and the administrators and the mayor for what you're doing. This is good stuff. There's nothing more you can do, nothing greater you can do for a community than provide families and children a place to recreate. And what they're doing here with the pickleball courts and inside, the mayor was just telling me the work that they're doing there, and the tennis courts and the fields, be reconstructing the fields as well. So when you can do stuff like this, tangible stuff for community members, their families, their children, it really says a lot about the village's commitment to actually invest in the community. So congratulations, and thank you very much.
Well, so this project really couldn't happen without the vision and the fiscal management from the mayor and from the board of trustees in the village. And this is a very physical, very obvious example of what happens in a community with sound fiscal management and a focus on our youth and our future and in recreation. This community, as the corner of New York State, excuse me, has a very proud history, and also a lot of dedicated people that are here to be able to manage these types of resources throughout the village. And so it's a natural connection to bring in this type of thing, to have a grant from through the consolidated funding application and New York State Parks Environmental Protection Fund. It was an easy investment for that to happen. And so when you look at the smiles on children's faces, it really says it all. And so very, very proud to have brought that here, and I think the mayor and the board should be very proud of the efforts they've put in to make this happen.
And before we do the ribbon cutting, I want to thank our audience of little people from the Champlain Children's Learning Center. We have infants in preschool. Yes. I want to thank the media that came today to enjoy the ceremony, and we have a visit from Jana McFetridge, who's the mayor of the village of Champlain. We have our library director, we have our code enforcement officer, So this is just a wonderful gathering. And if we can have the children come up a little bit, they're going to get to go play on the playground once we cut the ribbon.
We're going to go right behind.
I bet most of them have already been on this playground.
Hold on, they're going to cut the ribbon and then
We got to get these back.
Okay.
All right, should
Count
they belong
down
to the
from
village?
3. How's that? 3, 2, 1, cut.
All right, kids, let's go.
There, go play.
There you go.
Didn't have to coax them at all. There's more coming here. I saw pictures of this on Facebook and I thought it looked nice, but then when I did that soccer game over the weekend and looked toward here, I couldn't believe how huge this little playground is. We're going to try to get somebody else to chat with us before all is said and done, but in the meantime the kids and the reporter from Channel 5 are enjoying the the playground. And I'm darn sure that nobody's going to check your ID, so if you're not a resident of the village of Rouses Point, feel free to bring your youngsters down here. But also pay attention to this here, supervise your children. Don't just drop them off and leave, obviously. But it's just get a, those who may have seen our coverage of the concerts all summer long. That's the concert stage. Over here is that new pickleball court, and there will be fencing going in apparently next to the basketball court here and the tennis courts, and of course the hockey rink and place for the big events. That's also available in there. Everyone was introduced except the person who started talking. You weren't introduced. How come?
No, I wasn't.
Who in the heck are you?
I'm Donna Bomel. I'm the village clerk administrator here in Rouses Point.
Yeah, you've been were you at the library before you worked for the village?
Yeah, I was the library director for 7 years, and then I became the village clerk, and now I'm the clerk administrator.
Okay.
2 hats.
And Mr. Peters, he was here at the time, and
Yes.
then he moved on, but he's still much involved in this.
Yes, he is. Yeah.
I'll have to talk to him later about what his business is. Now he's doing this for a business.
He's doing this for a business. He was very instrumental in getting the grant, and he's helping administer the grant. So the two of us are working together to administer the grant, and as you can see, we're progressing.
Yeah.
Slowly, but we're progressing.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
talking with Mayor Batha, and he said that you got other things to do, but you've
Yes.
got to show where you're doing your part too. You
Yes.
got,
Trying.
you've got to do some work in kind services.
Yes.
To,
Yep.
to make all this happen.
Yep, and everyone that works for the village, the crews have been amazing in helping. We've had Public Works and the rec center crews helping tear down the old equipment and just here whenever they're needed.
Yeah,
It's been great.
And you keep track of every one of those hours.
Yes,
and
and
put it
equipment
against-
hours, yes, everything.
Yeah,
Yep.
everything goes into
And I don't like math.
Well, don't you know that math plus science equals success?
It does. I haven't hit the math part yet.
Well, you can put 2 and 2 together, though.
Yes, I can. Yes.
Anything else exciting going on, Donna?
We have the Empire State Trailhead. It's up at the front end of the parking lot of the rec center. So that was funded through New York State Empire State Trailhead. So this is the beginning of the trail runs north to south, the bike trail.
Uh-huh.
So it's about 750 miles worth of bike trails and pedestrian trails throughout New York State. So this is going to be the trailhead, and there's a company out of Ticonderoga that's doing the construction on it. And there'll be kiosks with the maps. There'll be bike repair stations. There'll be air stations for bicycles, bike racks, and there's also going to be benches. So this will be the start of the trail. So we're hoping that that's going to take off next year. And I know that talking with Susan Sullivan, the library director, a couple of people are thinking of forming just a group, a get-together for bicyclists that very casual and plan biking trips and maybe even snowshoeing in the winter.
Well, if they do that, they better not take up all the hockey parking spots over there.
I think we'll meet at the library. Yeah, we're going to compete with hockey. Yes. So that's
there will be a little bit of overlap in November maybe or something.
Yes,
People
yes.
are coming for different things.
Yes. And right now there are a lot of bicyclists that come out of Canada, and they'll park their vehicles here for the weekend, and they take day trips, and we're hoping that's going to expand.
And you hope while they're here they might spend $1 in the village.
Yes, and
That's always scared me about these things. I see these, like the Champlain center there at the shopping center. A lot of bikers park their vehicles there, and I talked to some of the store owners. They say, yep, they park their vehicles, get on their bike, come back, get on their bike, and
about a month ago, the library system had a presentation with Champlain Bikeways here at the rec center, and I did a little presentation just with the information that I know about the trailhead, and a Canadian person came down that explained their biking and different trips up there, and they were asking about the amenities here in Rouses Point, and they frequent Dollar General. They like just to go in to buy little things that they can carry with them, and Stewart's, they'll grab a bite to eat. And the one thing that we all know in this area we're lacking is a hotel or motel. And they use stay at a hotel up in St. Jean, and they call it Spoke and Hub. So they'll stay there and they'll ride down here and then go back. So they're very interested in any of the amenities here.
Yeah, so you gotta make sure that they're aware of them, and that because it's nice to have them here, but if they're not supporting the community,
it was a nice meeting because they didn't know that that they could park here if they wanted to stay overnight, and also at the public parking lot on Washington Street. A lot of people don't know that we have that. And if they just let us know at the village that they're going to stay overnight and maybe go camping someplace along the way, it's perfectly fine. We'll just make sure that the sheriff's department knows so it doesn't get towed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
but we
important.
welcome anybody to come in. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Anything else, Donna?
No, but thank you very much for coming.
All right. and
Thank you, Judy.
All right, thanks.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
All right, now we got the brains behind the operation. What's your name, young fella?
Steve Peters. I'm the former village administrator here,
Yeah,
but
we'll talk to you inside the.
yeah, that's right. And I own a company now called Elevate 518, which is a fund development and project management company designed to help with capacity for communities like Rouses Point, with nonprofits and for-profits, and getting projects off the ground that benefit the region.
All right, so this is a type of project that you would be involved with your new company.
Yeah, absolutely, and this really hits the nail on the head, because when you see children playing on a playground, and you hear the stories of already 100 kids being on this thing at once during the soccer games, how do you not enjoy that, and how does that not make you realize how great a community can be?
Yeah, in a week or two there'll be a soccer tournament here, so if you want to come back and see it in use, you better come to that.
Yeah, there might be some lines on the slides, that's for sure. It'll be like the Great Escape out here, but that's okay. That's what it's for. We're going to get kids outside and healthy and active, and this just keeps encouraging that to take place. And so this type of investment by the village, with the foresight of the mayor and the board, has been really, really pivotal.
Now, there won't be any time of the year when it's closed. The kids can, if they feel they want to get out there in January.
Absolutely, and we're pretty tough up here. So on a January day, the sun can shine just like it is today, and even if it's 20 degrees, you're still all right. And it's certainly perfect for kids to come out and use it in the fall and the winter.
So it's not just a summer.
Not at
playground.
all. No, not at all.
All right, so it's Very nice. Which company makes this?
This is made by a company called Bears Playgrounds, and they're out of Lima, which is New York, which is just south of Rochester. They go all over the country doing these things, and I had stumbled across this type of playground with my own children, actually at Fish Creek campground, and a number of years ago. And I mentioned to my children a few weeks ago that we were installing a playground here, and they asked me a little bit about it, which one, and I said, well, it's just like the one at Fish Creek. And then they got really excited, and then they started having their own conversation amongst each other about, which part of that playground they really enjoyed the best. And we hadn't been there in a year and a half, so they remembered it. It was pivotal in their memories, and it reinforced for me that this is the right type of equipment for children and for this region. So it really works great.
That's real wood. Is that cedar? Or what
That's
is that?
cedar, and it's got a light kind of coating on it, like a little bit of a stain, but it's made to be out in the elements. It's going to last, the warranty's 10 years. They say it's going to last far longer than that.
Cedar will last.
Yeah, absolutely. It should last for almost forever. And for the price and for all the different attributes that come with it, it's ADA accessible. It's really for all ages, and it's something that I think people will enjoy for generations.
Now, the name of your company again was it 518?
Elevate 518.
Now, you realize that we're going to get 2 area codes here. 518 is our telephone area code.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, we're going to get a second area code.
We might.
What are you going to do then?
I might just create another LLC with whatever that one is too. But no, 518's, where I was born, where we're all born, and if I have to go through it, fine. But I'm going to stick with that for now.
Okay, hopefully that'll be a long time. But we got to dial that 518 now. When we
we do. I know. We're gonna call our neighbor and we're gonna dial the 518. But that's hopefully people remember Elevate 518 each time they do that, and we'll keep building things for them. How's that?
Now I noticed that you and I both use the word dial.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to remember that I had to dial.
I also am old enough. 5, 1, 8. Yeah, that was me. So I remember that too.
So even though we're no longer dialing, we still
say dial, and I have to remind my kids that when I wanted to call somebody, the phone was attached to the wall, and I had to stay in the kitchen.
Yeah, you didn't wander too far. Anything else you got going on that we should know about?
Well, this is really, actually, as the mayor had said during the press conference, this is the tip of the iceberg. We've got new fencing coming in, resurfacing the tennis courts and the pickleball courts. We're putting in safety fencing around the ball fields, not in the outfield, but on the spectator sides, and looking at resurfacing the turf area to get it to crown a little bit better, so there's less divots. There's actually quite an elevation change amongst certain areas of that field, which makes it tough for soccer, softball, baseball, and so we're going to work on all of that and get that kind of leveled out. Also adding a little bit of additional parking on one side for some of those overflow days, and we're carefully watching what New York State's doing with the Empire State Bike Trail, which is something I pushed for when I was here to make sure that they understood. They actually were just going to put up a little sign, and I had to kind of encourage them that this is actually a far bigger entry point than they're expecting. We got them to make an additional investment to put in what they call a trailhead here. To get the cyclists a little bit more oriented with Rouses Point. And actually I was telling the mayor earlier that I was in Syracuse over the weekend and was on Empire State Trail. They had a big sign, and on that the big map of New York State, they had New York City, they had Albany, they had Buffalo, Rochester labeled, and Rouses Point.
Did they?
It was on there. I was like, wow, that's really cool. I don't know if that was from us or just they did it, but they were acknowledging all these different gateways. And they certainly put Rouses Point on the map, which is great. So we're going to watch that, and as long as if there's anything we can add to that from this grant, we will. If not, then we're going to repurpose and refocus a little bit more on this area and try to get some additional amenities as time goes on.
Yeah, I think that's nice, but what you can do to accommodate the local people is probably a higher priority if I were taking the priority.
Yeah, absolutely. In general, though, we've got a number of businesses they're actually supported by these cyclists in a weekly or summer basis, and so we want to make sure that keeps continuing to get encouraged. Yes. We're part of that process.
The way downtowns are dying, you need.
Yeah, we're gonna capitalize on any advantage we can, I think, in this scenario. So, with that coming in, the village didn't have to pay a thing for that Empire State Trailhead, and it's great to be on the map and to be recognized, and that anytime somebody comes through here, we're going to present a very nice image, including playgrounds and fresh parks and things like that. So we want people to realize what a great place this is to live.
All right. Appreciate it. Anything else, Steve?
I think you got it, man.
All right. All right. Thanks.
Good luck
Chatting
this
with
week.
you.
Yeah,
All right, thanks.
no problem. Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll take one final look here at this brand new play area here at Rouses Point at the Civic Center grounds, and something I'm sure is a welcome addition for everybody that has youngsters in and around Rouses Point. So congratulations to everybody involved. Thanks for watching and supporting viewer-supported local television, Hometown Cable TV. We think is worthy of your support.